There are certain opportunities in life that sit quietly, like seeds in fertile soil, waiting for the patient and the wise to notice them. Small businesses, often overlooked by the world, hold within them the power to create millionaires, not through loud displays or risky ventures, but through steady, consistent, and inspired action. The universe always favors the one who recognizes value where others see none, and the small business is a living testament to this law. It is in the humble corner shops, the unseen online services, the local trades, and the personalized offerings that abundance quietly flows, provided the mind is open to receive it. The first step is to recognize that wealth does not always knock through grand avenues. Sometimes it comes softly, in whispers, asking only for faith, perseverance, and clarity of vision. Many people look at small businesses and see limitation, yet limitation is merely the shadow of opportunity. A small enterprise, when guided by inspired thought and focused energy, becomes a magnet for prosperity. There is a certain power in service that the world cannot ignore. When you offer something of genuine value, when your hands and heart are dedicated to excellence, money flows as naturally as water to the ocean. It is not a matter of struggle or force. It is a matter of alignment. Your mind must be tuned to the frequency of success, free from doubt, free from fear, free from hesitation, and ready to act upon the inspired ideas that come to you. The beauty of small businesses lies in their intimacy. They allow the owner to touch lives directly, to understand needs, and to fulfill them with precision. This personal connection is a channel through which wealth enters, for it is not only skill but the spirit behind it that attracts prosperity. A small bakery, a local consultancy, a handcrafted jewelry shop. These are not just businesses. They are vessels of abundance, quietly drawing riches to those who serve with integrity and creativity. The key is to recognize that prosperity is attracted by faith-filled action. Your mind must be unwavering, imagining success as already achieved, speaking to the subconscious with words of certainty, knowing that the universe responds to every thought you impress upon it. Many shy away from small enterprises, believing them too humble to create significant wealth, yet history is filled with quiet millionaires who began in modest spaces, with simple ideas and hearts full of faith. They understood the laws of abundance, clarity of purpose, persistence, honesty, and a willingness to serve. These laws are as sure as the sunrise, and they operate without prejudice. The small business owner who grasps this truth finds that money is never a distant goal. It becomes a natural byproduct of living in harmony with universal principles, of trusting that the right people, the right ideas, and the right opportunities will converge in perfect timing, guided by the unseen currents of providence. The path to wealth through small business is not a race. It is a conscious journey, a dialogue between the mind, the heart, and the universal law of abundance. It is a way of life where careful attention to service, quality, and integrity transforms modest beginnings into extraordinary results. It is in this quiet, persistent, inspired effort that millionaires are born, often unnoticed, often in the shadow of what the world deems important, yet always in alignment with the universal flow of prosperity. Small businesses are hidden gold mines when approached with vision and faith. Small businesses are often overlooked by those who chase grand schemes or flashy enterprises. Yet within their quiet walls lie opportunities as vast and abundant as the sea. The secret of wealth is not in the size of the business, nor in the noise it makes, but in the alignment of thought, action, and divine guidance. To recognize a small business as a hidden gold mine, one must first cultivate a vision that sees beyond appearances. What others perceive as modest or ordinary, the wise perceive as fertile ground for prosperity. Every corner, every service, every idea that serves a need carries with it the seed of abundance, and when nurtured with faith, these seeds grow into streams of wealth flowing steadily and surely. Faith is the invisible current that animates the enterprise. It is not a belief that something may happen, but a knowing that it has already begun, a certainty that the universe is arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities to manifest the vision that has been set before the mind. The first principle is to see clearly the potential in what is small and seemingly insignificant. A small shop, a single service, a handmade product. Each is a channel through which prosperity may flow if approached with intention. The universe responds to thought, and the thoughts impressed upon the mind of the small business owner are the determining factor in whether the enterprise becomes a goldmine or remains ordinary. When the mind is fixed upon success, when every action is guided by clarity, intelligence, and purpose, money is drawn as naturally as light draws the eye. This is not a matter of struggle, it is a matter of alignment. One must release doubt, hesitation, and comparison, knowing that the resources required are already present in the unseen, waiting to be drawn forth by inspired action and faith-filled thought. To operate a small business with this understanding is to see every transaction, every interaction, as an opportunity to express excellence. Excellence is the magnetic force that attracts prosperity, and it manifests not in showiness or pretense, but in genuine care, attention to detail, and service that satisfies a need completely. The customer becomes not just a source of income but a co-creator of abundance. Every satisfied client, every loyal patron, every recommendation that flows from the satisfaction of service acts as a channel through which wealth returns in multiplied measure. The small business that quietly prospers is one that understands the invisible law: what you give in quality, integrity, and goodwill returns to you manifold in material form. Your vision is inseparable from faith. To recognize a business as a goldmine requires the ability to see beyond current limitations, to imagine the success as already in place, and to act as if it is already a reality. The mind that dwells upon scarcity or limitation invites lack. The mind that sees opportunity, nurtures ideas, and embraces inspired action invites abundance. Every morning, the small business owner should impress upon the subconscious mind the certainty of success, speaking affirmations of prosperity, picturing the growing enterprise, and expressing gratitude for the wealth that is already present in invisible form. Gratitude, spoken and felt sincerely, opens channels for greater abundance, for the universe always responds to the vibration of appreciation. Patience is another key element in recognizing the hidden wealth of small businesses. Growth is often slow and quiet, yet the currents of success are never absent. The unseen forces are constantly arranging favorable conditions, placing the right people, opening doors, and creating opportunities. The wise small business owner does not panic or become frustrated at apparent delays. For every challenge is a signal to adjust thought, to refine vision, and to continue in faith-filled action. Challenges are not obstacles, but invitations to deepen understanding, to refine methods, and to strengthen the mind against doubt. In this way, every difficulty is transformed into a stepping stone, and every small victory becomes a confirmation of the abundance that is quietly accumulating. Flexibility and intuition play vital roles. The small business that becomes a goldmine is one that listens to the inner guidance, the quiet voice of inspiration that suggests new ideas, adjustments, or directions. These inspirations are the whispers of the universe, guiding toward opportunities that are otherwise invisible. When the business owner acts upon inspired thought without fear, resistance, or hesitation, wealth flows in harmony with universal law. It is not effort alone that produces riches, but intelligent, directed, inspired effort, aligned with divine guidance and sustained by faith. Every action taken in service, every decision made with integrity, and every investment of time or resources in quality compounds into abundance. The quiet gold mine of a small business is built not on luck, but on understanding the principles of thought, faith, vision, and inspired action. The mind that sees small businesses as unworthy of attention cannot unlock the wealth within them, yet the mind that recognizes the potential, that embraces opportunity with courage, imagination, and trust, becomes a magnet for prosperity. Wealth does not always arrive in spectacular fashion. Often it flows in small streams that accumulate into rivers of abundance, each client, each transaction, each act of service contributing to the greater whole, until what was once small becomes a thriving source of material prosperity, quietly, steadily, and inevitably in alignment with the universal laws that govern success and abundance. Consistent service and integrity attract wealth naturally and quietly. There is a profound and subtle power in consistency, for the universe responds to steady, faithful action more readily than to sudden bursts of effort. Small business owners who understand this principle discover that wealth is not a product of frantic striving, but of continual service and unwavering integrity. when one dedicates oneself to offering quality and value in every interaction. A magnetic force is set into motion, drawing prosperity without the need for force or struggle. The law of abundance is impartial. It answers faithfully to thought, word, and deed. To act with integrity is to align with this law, to move in harmony with the currents of providence, and to create channels through which wealth flows naturally. Integrity is not merely a moral choice. It is a practical principle of success. The customer, the client, and the community sense it intuitively, and they respond in ways that multiply opportunities, referrals, and support. Consistency is the rhythm of success. It is the daily devotion to service, the repeated effort to meet and exceed expectations, and the patient nurturing of relationships that quietly compounds into wealth. A small business that consistently demonstrates care, reliability, and excellence becomes a beacon in its environment. People remember, trust, and return to it, often without conscious thought, because the energy of reliability is undeniable and magnetic. Each small action, taken faithfully, contributes to a greater whole, forming the invisible foundation upon which financial abundance is built. This is why small businesses, when managed with constancy and honesty, often surpass even larger competitors who rely on flashy strategies or shortcuts. Wealth flows to the one who understands that life rewards the faithful, the diligent, and the true, and that prosperity is the natural companion of consistent virtue. And service. Integrity requires more than honest transactions. It encompasses the character of the business itself. Every product, every promise, every interaction reflects the standard that has been set by the owner's mind. When the mind is attuned to truth, quality, and generosity, the environment responds with abundance. The law operates silently but relentlessly, arranging circumstances, people, and resources to support the enterprise. No detail is too small to escape notice, and no act of sincerity is wasted. Even challenges that arise are opportunities to demonstrate consistency and faith, to reinforce the principle that service and integrity are not dependent on conditions, but are a way of life, a state of consciousness that attracts prosperity naturally and quietly. The small business owner who internalizes these truths understands that wealth is not separate from service, nor from the quality of thought and action. It is drawn, like a river to the ocean, to those who honor their work, who commit to excellence, and who respect the trust placed in them by others. Every satisfied customer, every positive experience, and every small act of honesty accumulates in unseen ways, creating a momentum that ultimately manifests in financial gain. It is not ambition alone, nor cleverness alone, that produces riches. It is the union of consistent service with unwavering integrity, guided by faith in the unseen, that transforms a modest venture into a source of substantial wealth. Consistency also trains the mind to perceive opportunity and maintain focus. Repeated actions, executed with care, develop discernment and wisdom, allowing the business owner to recognize patterns and align with natural flows of abundance. Inattention, carelessness, or dishonesty, on the other hand, disrupts the flow and repels prosperity, regardless of talent or intelligence. The universal law operates impartially, rewarding alignment with truth and fidelity, and responding to each thought and action with precise justice. The quiet millionaire understands this and cultivates both consistency and integrity as daily disciplines, not as temporary strategies. Faith is the companion of integrity. To act with honesty and consistency requires trust in the unseen, in the natural law of return, and in the ultimate fairness of life. When the mind is filled with confidence, free from doubt or worry, every decision and every interaction becomes a vehicle for attracting wealth. Prosperity is not forced, it is drawn, attracted as naturally as a magnet draws iron filings. The business that operates in this way becomes a living demonstration of universal principles, quietly accumulating resources, influence, and reputation, often without public fanfare, yet always with the certainty of eventual reward. Each day provides countless opportunities to practice this principle. From the way one answers a customer inquiry to the attention given to the smallest detail of a product, each action is an expression of the law. Consistency in kindness, quality, and honesty speaks louder than words and reaches further than the most elaborate marketing campaigns. Wealth flows to those who honor the process, who respect the relationship between effort and reward, and who understand that prosperity is drawn not by force, but by alignment with eternal principles that govern success. The business that operates in faith, service, and integrity becomes a quiet beacon, drawing wealth naturally. Money, clients, and opportunities converge not because of luck or chance, but because the unseen law has been activated by repeated faithful action and an unwavering commitment to truth. The consistent application of integrity and service builds not only financial abundance but also reputation, trust, and influence, which together compound in ways that are visible and invisible, immediate and long-term, subtle and powerful, and that ultimately transform the humble enterprise into a source of lasting prosperity. Personal connection with customers transforms modest ventures into powerful abundance channels. There is a subtle but undeniable power in human connection, a force that transforms ordinary transactions into channels of abundance that flow quietly yet inexorably into the life of the small business owner. The personal bond formed with each customer is not merely a social nicety, it is a conduit through which wealth, loyalty, and opportunity move as naturally as a river follows its course. To recognize this truth is to understand that the value of a business is not measured solely by its products or services, but by the relationships cultivated, the trust earned, and the sincere care expressed in every interaction. Each person who walks through the door or engages with the enterprise carries the potential to amplify prosperity, for every satisfied customer radiates goodwill, speaks of the experience, and draws others into the sphere of the business. When attention is given to forming genuine connections, the invisible currents of abundance respond, quietly multiplying the returns of even the smallest venture. The mind of the business owner must first embrace the principle that each customer is a unique expression of opportunity. No interaction is too small to leave an impression, and no act of service is too humble to attract wealth. When the owner approaches the work with attentiveness, kindness, and sincerity, the energy of the business shifts. Customers sense authenticity, and their trust, loyalty, and repeated patronage become a magnet for further abundance. This is the law of return at work, a principle that governs both visible and invisible worlds. What is given in genuine care, service, and attention returns in multiplied forms, often beyond the expectations of the giver. The personal connection is the channel through which the universal law manifests, creating not only material wealth, but also goodwill, influence, and enduring reputation. Why moment of interaction holds significance. A smile, a remembered preference, a patient response, or a helpful suggestion communicates to the customer that they are valued and understood. This acknowledgement is more than a social courtesy. It is an investment in invisible currency, a deposit into the unseen account of prosperity. The small business that cultivates this habit of attentiveness finds that abundance flows without force, often surprising the owner with opportunities, referrals, and resources that appear as if by magic. The secret is that no effort toward kindness, service, or genuine connection is ever wasted. The universe observes every thought, every word, every act, and arranges circumstances in accordance with the quality of energy expressed. Faith in the power of personal connection is essential. The small business owner must believe that each interaction has significance beyond immediate results, trusting that the unseen forces are multiplying every act of service in ways that may not be immediately visible. Worry or doubt about whether these gestures will pay off diminishes their potency, but faith, when combined with consistent, attentive action, activates channels of abundance that no human calculation can fully predict. Prosperity flows most readily to those who act with purpose, sincerity, and confidence in the unseen, and the relationships nurtured through personal connection become living evidence of this principle. Intuition and attentiveness also play a key role. By observing needs, listening carefully, and responding with appropriate care, the business owner taps into the subtle currents of opportunity that often go unnoticed. Suggestions, concerns, or expressions of preference are not merely feedback, they are guides placed before the business by the universe, indicating the direction in which resources and attention should flow. Acting upon these insights with courage, diligence, and sincerity strengthens the bond with customers, amplifies the perceived value of the business, and attracts wealth as naturally as the sun draws life to the earth. Gratitude is another indispensable element. Every interaction, no matter how routine, is an opportunity to express appreciation for the customer's presence, trust, and patronage. Gratitude amplifies the energy of abundance, opening channels that allow wealth to flow freely. A business that recognizes the invisible power of connection and couples it with consistent acknowledgement and appreciation finds that prosperity enters not only through sales, but through relationships that create influence, referrals, and partnerships. Each act of recognition is a signal to the universe that the owner honors the law of reciprocity, that they value the energy exchanged, and that they are ready to receive, in equal or greater measure. Consistency in relationship building is as vital as the sincerity behind it. Occasional gestures of care are helpful, but the business that becomes a true show, Annal of Abundance, does so through repeated, faithful attention to the needs of others. Patterns of kindness, thoughtfulness, and consideration establish trust that transcends mere transaction. Customers feel seen and understood, and in their loyalty, the invisible law of return multiplies prosperity. This is the quiet, enduring power that transforms modest ventures into sources of extraordinary wealth, not through aggressive marketing or large-scale operations, but through the steady, sincere cultivation of human connection. Every satisfied customer becomes a node in a network of prosperity, each interaction an investment in invisible capital that attracts more opportunities, more clients, and more resources. When the business owner maintains awareness of this principle, the work ceases to be mere labor and becomes a form of conscious co-creation with the universe. Service is no longer a duty or obligation, but a joyful expression of abundance, and the results, while often quiet and subtle at first, accumulate with perfect precision, eventually manifesting in financial, reputational, and relational richness that exceeds expectation. By honoring the principle of personal connection, by nurturing trust, service, and sincerity, the small business transforms from a simple venture into a living channel of prosperity. It attracts wealth naturally and quietly, multiplying with each action, each gesture, and each interaction, drawing abundance in accordance with universal law, responding to the quality of thought, the consistency of effort, and the faith of the mind, demonstrating in tangible form the timeless truth that wealth is born of service, integrity, and the deep human bonds cultivated through genuine connection. Faith-filled action and clarity of purpose amplify the potential of small enterprises. The power of faith-filled action combined with clarity of purpose is the secret engine behind small enterprises that grow quietly into magnificent sources of wealth. To embark upon a venture with intention and confidence is to align oneself with the natural law of abundance, a law that responds faithfully to thought, word, and deed. The mind of the small business owner must first be set upon a clear vision, knowing exactly what is to be achieved and why it matters. Clarity of purpose acts like a compass, guiding every decision, every effort, and every interaction, ensuring that energy is not wasted and that the enterprise grows in harmony with unseen forces that favor order, intention, and focused effort. Without such clarity, action becomes scattered, and the currents of abundance may pass unnoticed, even when the potential for wealth is immense. Faith is the invisible bridge between desire and manifestation. It is not merely hope, nor a wish for success, but a confident knowing that what has been conceived in the mind and acted upon with integrity is already unfolding in the unseen world. The small business that operates under this principle, moves in harmony with universal law. Every step, no matter how small, is energized by faith, and the result is a magnetism that draws people, resources, and opportunities toward the enterprise. Doubt and hesitation act like barriers, slowing the flow of prosperity, while faith, sustained and directed by clear intention, allows abundance to manifest naturally and effortlessly. Purpose gives direction to effort. The business owner who knows the reason behind the enterprise, who has a clear image of the impact they wish to make, creates a powerful energy field that influences every action. This energy communicates itself to employees, customers, and the broader environment, attracting those who resonate with the vision and repelling those who do not. When the purpose is pure and the intent aligned with service and value, every interaction, transaction, and decision becomes a channel through which prosperity flows. Clarity of purpose eliminates confusion, indecision, and wasted effort, enabling the small business to operate efficiently, confidently, and with an invisible but powerful momentum toward success. Action, when filled with faith and aligned with purpose, has a multiplier effect. Simple, consistent steps, taken with conviction and clarity, set the law of abundance into motion. The universe responds to energy in motion, to thought impressed into action, and to the courage to act despite uncertainty. Each initiative, whether it is reaching out to a client, refining a prod, UCT, or improving a service, carries within it the potential for exponential growth. When these actions are guided by faith and clarity, they are not merely tasks but instruments of manifestation, drawing resources, opportunities, and connections that might otherwise remain unseen. The small business owner must cultivate the habit of visualizing success as already realized. Clarity of purpose is strengthened through mental imagery, affirmations, and a conscious focus on the outcome desired. When the mind is fully occupied with the vision of success, when every thought is a declaration of intention and faith, the unseen forces begin to respond. Opportunities appear. People are guided into the orbit of the enterprise, and resources flow in accordance with the energy projected. The combination of purposeful vision and faithful action creates a momentum that cannot be easily stopped, a quiet but irresistible current that carries the business forward and multiplies its potential beyond ordinary calculation. Challenges, when viewed through the lens of faith and purpose, become invitations to deepen understanding, refine strategy, and strengthen resolve. Obstacles are not interruptions but confirmations that the enterprise is growing, that the law is at work, and that persistence and faith will yield results. Each problem solved with clarity, each decision made with integrity, and each act of courage taken in alignment with the purpose reinforces the magnetic field of prosperity, ensuring that the business not only survives, but thrives. The unseen law rewards the consistent application of focused effort and faith-filled action, and the results are often quiet at first, accumulating in subtle ways until they manifest visibly and unmistakably. Faith-filled action requires courage, for it often means stepping beyond the familiar, trusting in unseen support, and acting despite fear or uncertainty. The small business owner who moves with confidence, guided by clarity of purpose, demonstrates a magnetic energy that draws opportunity and prosperity. Every inspired decision, every bold initiative taken with integrity, sets into motion a chain of events that multiplies the impact of the enterprise. The clarity of mind ensures that effort is not wasted, while faith ensures that energy moves with confidence, drawing abundance from sources beyond immediate perception. Consistency in action amplifies the power of faith and purpose. Daily attention to the goals, regular alignment with the vision, and the steady execution of inspired tasks ensure that the business grows in harmony with universal law. Small steps, repeated faithfully, compound in ways that produce visible, tangible, and substantial results. The combination of vision, faith, and deliberate action acts as a quiet engine, propelling the enterprise towards success, while establishing patterns of wealth that are durable, reliable, and aligned with the natural law of abundance. Every interaction, every product, every service offered becomes a reflection of clarity of purpose and faith-filled action. The customer, employee, or associate experiences this energy, often without conscious awareness, and responds accordingly. Loyalty, trust, referrals, and opportunities increase, quietly building a network of prosperity that expands beyond the immediate environment. The small business that embraces this principle becomes a living demonstration of the power of intention aligned with faith, illustrating that wealth is not a product of luck, circumstance, or aggression, but of conscious alignment with universal principles, repeated faithful action, and the magnetic force of clarity combined with trust in unseen support. Humble beginnings, guided by universal principles, often lead to millionaire success. Every great fortune begins with a small step, a simple idea, or a humble beginning. The universe never measures wealth by appearance or scale, it measures alignment, intention, and faith. Many of the quiet millionaires who walk the earth today began in modest circumstances, with little more than a desire to serve, a clear vision, and an unwavering trust in the natural law of abundance. To understand this principle is to recognize that no beginning is too small, no enterprise too humble, to attract immense prosperity. The key is to focus the mind, speak with faith, and act in accordance with universal principles that govern success, knowing that every small effort is multiplying in ways unseen, quietly paving the path to great achievement. The mind of the entrepreneur who rises from humble beginnings must first be trained to see beyond apparent limitations. Poverty, lack of resources, or small scale are not obstacles. They are opportunities for the mind to exercise faith, creativity, and persistence. When one understands that the universe responds to thought impressed into action, one realizes that the size of the initial venture does not determine its ultimate outcome. It is the clarity of purpose, the honesty of effort, and the alignment with universal law that creates wealth. Small acts performed consistently, with integrity and faith, compound into larger opportunities, creating momentum that carries the enterprise forward, often in ways that appear miraculous to those who judge only by appearances. Humble beginnings teach lessons that wealth cannot buy. Patience, persistence, creativity, and adaptability are cultivated naturally when resources are limited, and these qualities become the foundation of enduring prosperity. Every challenge faced in the early stages of a venture is a teacher, every setback a guidepost, and every success, no matter how small, a confirmation of universal law at work. The entrepreneur who embraces these lessons understands that the true measure of wealth is not material alone, but the strength, wisdom, and spiritual alignment developed through faithful action in the early stages. Faith is the invisible force that transforms humble beginnings into extraordinary results. To act with confidence and certainty, even when the external circumstances appear insufficient, is to activate the law of abundance. The small steps taken with courage, clarity, and trust in unseen guidance are multiplied in ways beyond human calculation. Each effort, whether it is learning a skill, reaching out to a customer, or improving a product, becomes a building block in the creation of wealth. The universe never ignores a clear, focused, and faith-filled intention. It responds by arranging opportunities, resources, and people to support the vision in perfect timing. Gratitude magnifies this process, even in modest circumstances, expressing sincere appreciation for every opportunity, every lesson, and every small success opens channels for greater abundance. Gratitude aligns the mind with the energy of wealth and signals readiness to receive more. The humble entrepreneur who appreciates the unfolding process, who sees every interaction, every effort, and every challenge as part of the divine design, activates a magnetic force that draws prosperity naturally. Wealth begins to flow quietly, steadily, and often unexpectedly, reinforcing the principle that humble beginnings are not limitations but fertile ground for the manifestation of great fortune. Clarity of purpose is equally essential. The mind must hold a clear picture of the desired outcome, not in distant abstraction, but in present certainty. The small entrepreneur who knows why the business exists, who understands the value being offered, and who envisions the success as already realized, sets the stage for the universe to respond. Every action, every decision, and every interaction becomes infused with intention, amplifying the potential for wealth. Clarity removes doubt, strengthens confidence, and guides the entrepreneur to act decisively, even when external conditions are modest or uncertain. Action inspired by faith and guided by principles of honesty, service, and quality compounds in ways that are invisible at first but unmistakable over time. Small businesses, begun in modest circumstances, often possess the advantage of intimacy, agility, and authenticity. The entrepreneur can cultivate personal connections, understand the needs of clients, and respond with care and attention that larger enterprises cannot replicate. These qualities create a magnetic energy that attracts wealth, builds loyalty, and multiplies opportunities in quiet, consistent ways. Humble beginnings offer the ideal environment for developing these skills and cultivating the character required for millionaire-level success. Every setback, every obstacle, and every challenge is a teacher in disguise. When faced with limited resources, the entrepreneur learns resourcefulness, patience, and creative problem-solving. These lessons, learned in the formative stages, become invaluable as the enterprise grows. The universe rewards those who persevere with faith, who act with integrity, and who maintain clarity of purpose. Challenges are not signs of failure but confirmations that the path is active, that growth is occurring, and that the principles of abundance are at work. By embracing the lessons of humble beginnings, the entrepreneur strengthens the inner resources necessary for sustained success. Humble beginnings also foster a deep sense of value and appreciation. When prosperity arrives, it is met with gratitude, respect for resources, and an understanding of the importance of integrity, service, and faith. The millionaire who rises from modest origins often wields wealth with wisdom, generosity, and insight, because the foundation was built on principles rather than mere chance. Every small act of service, every decision made with integrity, and every thought impressed with faith compounds in the invisible world, gradually manifesting in material results. The process is quiet, steady, and often unnoticed by others, yet its effects are profound and lasting. The principles of faith, clarity of purpose, gratitude, integrity, and persistent action combine to transform humble beginnings into millionaire success. No obstacle is permanent, no starting point too modest, and no effort wasted when guided by universal law. Every day, every thought, every step taken in alignment with these principles adds to the invisible accumulation of abundance, creating a foundation that supports prosperity far beyond what the initial circumstances would suggest. The entrepreneur who understands this works with confidence, creativity, and patience, knowing that wealth is attracted naturally, quietly, and inevitably when universal principles are honored, action is faithful, and purpose is clear.